Tonight with two ingenious solutions to Florida's ongoing battles with wild reptiles. And for that, we take you to opposite ends of the technology spectrum.
What if I told you that deep inside the wild, untamed heart of the Florida Everglades, a secret war is unfolding, one so strange, so chaotic, and so unbelievable that it sounds like pure science fiction. A place once alive with birds, otters, and deer has been taken over by a silent super predator, the Burmese python. These invaders grew so unstoppable, so out of control, that scientists resorted to something no one ever expected: robotic rabbits, tiny, heat-emitting machines designed to outsmart a killer. And the moment they released them into the swamp, what happened next was absolutely insane. Stay with me because this story only gets crazier from here. Decades ago, the Florida Everglades was alive from morning to night. If you stood in the tall sawgrass just after sunrise, you'd hear the world wake up around you. Birds calling, raccoons rustling through the brush, the quiet splash of a white-tailed deer stepping into shallow water. The land felt ancient and peaceful, but over time the sounds faded. Locals who grew up near this iconic place say they could feel the shift before they fully understood it. The mornings became strangely silent. Entire areas that once teemed with wildlife seemed empty. Something was draining the life out of the swamp, one creature at a time. That something was the Burmese python, a giant constrictor native to Southeast Asia, not Florida. Their arrival wasn't natural, it was man-made. Back in the 1970s and 80s, exotic pets became incredibly popular across the United States. Pet stores proudly displayed snakes, lizards, parrots, and creatures from all over the world. One of the most sought-after pets was the baby Burmese python. Small enough to curl up in a child's hands, people thought they were cool, harmless, and easy to take care of. What they didn't realize was that these little snakes grow, and they grow fast. 10 feet, 15 feet, some reach more than 20 feet long. Stronger than any owner could ever handle. As the snakes grew larger, more aggressive, and more dangerous, panic set in. Instead of contacting wildlife officials, many owners drove to canals and the edges of the Everglades and simply released them. But the real disaster hit in 1992, when Hurricane Andrew tore across South Florida. The storm destroyed reptile breeding facilities, releasing countless pythons into the wild. This was the moment everything changed. The Florida Everglades, with its warm climate, endless water, and abundant prey, turned out to be a perfect haven for the invaders. With no natural predators to stop them, the pythons multiplied at a terrifying speed. Some experts estimate there are now tens of thousands slithering through the swamps, and others believe the number is far higher. Once the pythons took over, the Everglades food chain began to collapse. Rabbits, raccoons, opossums, and even young American alligators became easy prey. In some areas, small mammal populations dropped by more than 90%. Deer, once seen in herds, became rare. The natural balance that had kept the Everglades alive for generations started to fall apart under the pressure of a predator that never belonged there. And the invasion didn't stay hidden in the swamp. It crept into nearby neighborhoods. Residents began finding massive snakes curled beneath cars, gliding across driveways, and tearing into chicken coops. Fear spread quickly. Parents worried about their children. Pet owners kept animals locked inside. The Everglades was changing, and no one knew how to stop it. The fight to save it began fast and aggressively. Wildlife officers, hunters, volunteers, and scientists united. The famous Python Challenge launched, offering cash rewards to those who captured the most or largest snakes. For a moment, it seemed like hope had arrived, but the battle was far from over. But behind the viral clips, a harsher truth remained, even with hundreds of hunters in the field. The python population barely budged. The Everglades is a monstrous, maze-thick sawgrass, murky water, tree islands, and endless hiding spots. A python can lie completely still, invisible beneath a few inches of brush. Hunters walked right past snakes without ever noticing them. For every python captured, dozens more lurked unseen. The battle felt hopeless, so Florida shifted tactics and brought in new specialists. Python-sniffing dogs to quickly became famous crewmen. A focused black Labrador and Eleanor, a sharp-nosed golden retriever. These dogs trained like wildlife detectives, able to trace the faintest whiff of python scent through mud, tall grass, and dense thickets. When they found a snake's trail, they alerted their handlers with precision. leading teams to hiding spots humans never could have found alone. For a while, their success sparked real optimism, but the Everglades is as dangerous as it is beautiful. Deep water, sudden drop-offs, venomous snakes, and lurking American alligators limited the dogs' reach. Some areas were simply too risky, no matter how skilled the animals were. Truman and Eleanor made an impact, but they couldn't cover the entire swamp. Scientists then tried something bold: scout snakes. They captured male pythons, attached radio transmitters to them, and released them back into the wild. Since males travel long distances searching for females, the trackers often guided researchers straight to breeding nests, the true source of the growing population. But even this clever plan had flaws. Some males barely moved, others slipped into areas where radio signals weakened, and sometimes the snakes simply disappeared before teams could reach them. Finally, researchers turned to technology: thermal drones scanning the swamp at dawn, searching for warm bodies against the cool ground. But the Everglades once again proved unpredictable. Warm mud, sun-heated rocks, and even patches of soil triggered false alarms. The drones struggled to distinguish between harmless heat signatures and actual snakes. Every effort helped a little, but nothing stopped the pythons, no matter what humans tried. The snakes always seemed one step ahead, until scientists focused on a tiny, almost forgotten detail: marsh rabbits. Before the python invasion, marsh rabbits were everywhere in the Everglades. Now they're nearly extinct in certain areas. But one thing hadn't changed: the python's intense reaction to them. Their scent triggered a strong hunting response. Researchers first tried using live rabbits as lures, but it didn't feel right. Marsh rabbits were already rare, and many people were uncomfortable with the idea. That's when someone asked a question that would change everything. What if the rabbit didn't have to be real? This was how the concept of the robotic rabbit was born. Engineers at the University of Florida, working with the South Florida Water Management District, began designing small machines that could mimic a marsh rabbit's body heat, movement, and scent. The idea sounded ridiculous at first. Even the scientists joked about it, but the more they developed the concept, the more promising it became. They created rabbits with heated cores, soft flexible limbs that twitched naturally, motion sensors that let them react to nearby movement, and scent pads coated in real marsh rabbit pheromones. Hidden inside were tiny cameras and GPS trackers. After months of building and testing, the first robotic rabbits were ready. At sunset, researchers placed them in python-heavy areas and waited. The Everglades was quiet. Then came the moment they had hoped for. A massive python slid out from the grass, tongue flicking, sensing the heat and smell of what it believed was prey. The robotic rabbit twitched. The python struck with full force, wrapped around it, and began to constrict. The robotic rabbit survived, and the footage it captured was groundbreaking. The attack, the movement patterns, the retreat, the entire hunt was recorded from the decoy's perspective. For the first time ever, scientists watched a python's natural behavior from inches away. Encouraged by early success, researchers deployed even more robotic rabbits throughout the Everglades. And within weeks, the results were astonishing. Dozens of python attacks were recorded. Some snakes dragged the robots toward burrows. Others coiled with enough force to bend their limbs. But the real breakthrough came from the GPS data. The decoys were quietly mapping hidden python highways, revealing hunting routes, resting areas, and breeding zones. By feeding this data into machine learning systems, scientists began predicting python behavior instead of chasing it, finally gaining an edge in a war they'd been losing for decades. The robotic rabbits quickly became essential tools in the fight. Teams began locating nests more efficiently, allowing them to remove eggs before they hatched. Hunters became more efficient as well, targeting hotspots instead of wandering blindly. Even skeptics who once mocked the idea admitted the robots were achieving something spectacular. But the Everglades had its own challenges. Heat-fried circuits, humidity damaged motors, storms swept away equipment, and mud swallowed robots whole. Predators occasionally attacked the decoys. Some pythons even learned to avoid areas where robotic rabbits had been before. Despite every challenge, the robotic rabbits proved their worth. They revealed hidden behaviors, exposed new breeding areas, and gave researchers a clearer picture of python life than any previous method. And beyond that, they opened a new chapter in conservation, a future where technology helps protect ecosystems and restore balance to places struggling to survive. The war for the Florida Everglades is far from over, but thanks to one tiny robotic rabbit, humans finally have a fighting chance. The swamp is revealing its secrets one strike at a time. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.